What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to TK Sports Talk, where we talk all things sports, all things NFL, and all things with the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm your host, TK the Official. The NFL on the eve, on the heels, on the precipice of it announcing the NFL schedule for the 2025 up-and-coming season on Wednesday, May 14th at 8 o'clock. The NFL has decided to leak some of the NFL schedule. And naturally, they decided to leak the first game of the season that does belong to your NFL Super Bowl National Football League champion, Philadelphia Eagles, all right? Now, it is tradition that the NFL Super Bowl champion winning team, which is the Philadelphia Eagles, get the first game of the season at home and is traditionally a primetime game where they are the only game that day, and the Philadelphia Eagles will host none other than the Dallas Cowboys, man. So after a whole offseason of wondering who the Philadelphia Eagles will face in their first home opening game, once the Philadelphia Eagles opponents were announced, as the NFL announced who all the teams will play, what divisions they'll go into, they'll play throughout the National Football League schedule for the upcoming season. The Philadelphia Eagles, it was a guess on who would they play, okay? Because of the opponents that they could play, it was the Cowboys, it was the Giants, it was the Commanders, it was the Rams, the Bears, the Lions, the Broncos, or the Raiders. Those would be the 8 home games that the Philadelphia Eagles would have to play. And it's naturally, why would they not play the Dallas Cowboys? Now, listen, I would love for the Philadelphia Eagles to have played the Washington Commanders. No, it wouldn't have been a good game for me for the Philadelphia Eagles to play the Rams. Most people think that the Rams gave the Philadelphia Eagles the toughest match in the playoffs. And yes, okay, by score, yes, it was one of the tougher games. Yes, the game did come down to the end. But if you remember that game, the Philadelphia Eagles were dominating that game. They controlled that game the entire game. The Rams wound up coming back. But the Philadelphia Eagles, thanks to Jalen Carter, came through and they shut it down. All right. So, but if you think about it with the Washington Commanders, right? Because nobody wants to see the Bears, right? And Detroit, they've had 2 chances in a row to try to do something in both seasons. They didn't do anything with it. Now they're coming off of a season where they lost both of their offensive and defensive coordinators, all right? And it's not easy for a team to replace offensive and defensive coordinators, as you've seen with the Philadelphia Eagles themselves, all right? Because 2 seasons ago, we had a new OC and a new DC, and we wound up having 2 DCs in that 1 year, okay? Because that's just how bad things got for the Philadelphia Eagles as they started out 10-1, and then ultimately they teetered toward the end of the season and wound up losing the last 6 or the last 7 games or some crazy kind of number like that, all right? Or maybe just the last 7 games, whatever it was, all right? The Philadelphia Eagles, we know the story, all right? But that was 2 seasons ago as the Philadelphia Eagles regained their dominance last season, okay, and won the NFL championship, which is why they're going to have this first home opener game. It wouldn't be the Broncos and it wouldn't be the Raiders. So it came down to 2 teams, all right, because the Giants are completely out of it. Nobody wants to see the Giants in the first game. We understand the Giants are rebuilding and they're going to continue to do that over the next year or 2, all right? But when it came down to it, it was going to be the Cowboys and the Commanders. Now, the NFL, over the last couple of seasons, they historically like to start out the beginning of the season with division games. And they like to start the end of the season with division games because we know how important these division games are. All right, so now that there's not a whole lot of preseason, this first game of the season is even more important. So will we see some players play in the preseason? Will we see coaches have a little bit of a tougher training camp to try to get their teams prepared? Because we've seen how it came last season when we didn't have starters playing any preseason games. Okay, and so we've seen that a lot of teams got out to a slow start. Your Philadelphia Eagles, our team got out to a slow start. All right, 2-2, we muddled through. We had a bye week, came at the good time, right? And we winded up hitting our stride, and the rest is history. We know what happened after that. All right, so this game is very, very important. The NFL was going to put 2 of its biggest matchups against the Philadelphia Eagles in the division, and that was going to be the Washington Commanders or the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if you ask me, the Washington Commanders would have been a better game only because the Commanders just had a great season last season. All right. A lot of people think I don't give the Commanders any credit. I pretty much poo-poo and shit on a lot of my NFC East friends out there that have certain things to talk about. And you can put things in the comments. You can say whatever you want. Please like, comment, and subscribe, man. It's been a little while since I posted a video, but your boy's back, right? All right. So, but the Commanders had a great season, and it came to an abrupt end. I mean, frankly, this is how it happened, all right? As the Philadelphia Eagles smacked fire out the Washington Commanders, all right? The score was 55-22 or 23, all right? The Philadelphia Eagles blew them out, all right? Now, how great would it be for the Philadelphia Eagles, right, to play the Washington Commanders, the team that they beat in the NFC Championship game, the team that kept the Washington Commanders out of winning or out of reaching the Super Bowl, okay? How about that team host the banner, raise the banner, host the trophy, and don the ring on their finger on opening night in front of the team that they beat in the NFC Championship to get there. A team that was in their division, a team that actually thought they had a chance to win the game, and the Philadelphia Eagles smacked them. All right. And then the Philadelphia Eagles, not only did they smack the Commanders, they went on to go into the Super Bowl 2 weeks later and smack the Chiefs. How great would it be for a young rookie in Jaden Daniels, who took the league by storm last year, to come back in the first game of the season after he spent the whole offseason just thinking about what he could have done in that NFC Championship game differently to help his team get a victory, to have been the one going to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs and have been the one to beat the Kansas City Chiefs and put an end to their dynasty. However, it wasn't Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. It was Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. All right. Yes, Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, who went on to go to the Super Bowl and upset and dethrone and trounce the Kansas City Chiefs. How great of a game would it be for the Washington Commanders to come back into Philly, to where they got trashed, and come out on national TV on the first game of the season and go out there and try to upset the Philadelphia Eagles and say, hey, last year was last year. Y'all was lucky. We here now. Deal with us. That would have been a great game of the Washington Commanders, the national capital, the team so close to the Philadelphia Eagles. Fans could have traveled. It could have been a great week. It could have been a great day. The NFL would have been able to come down. They could have been in both D.C. They could have been in both Philadelphia, all in the same week, and then ended up in Philadelphia for the game. It would have been absolute fanfare. Would have been. I mean, if you agree with me, comment down in the comments. All right, like, comment, and subscribe, man. If you agree with what I'm saying, if you think that the Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles would have been a better home opening game than the Dallas Cowboys, then give me a thumbs up. All right, give me a thumbs up. However, the NFL saw fit to put the Dallas Cowboys in that first home opening slot against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'll tell you, although I think that the Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles would have been a better game, I'll tell you why that this does make sense, right? And I'll tell you why the NFL did it, right? Listen, the Dallas Cowboys had a bad season last season, right? Dak coming off an injury, right? Offensive line not the same. They lost their Hall of Fame, or soon-to-be Hall of Fame guard, Zach Martin, right, to retirement, right? You're not sure. You've been going back and forth between tackling and guard with one of your better tackles. You got to find one of your better players. Got to find a good spot and position for him. You just traded for George Pickens, all right? So now you got George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, and we'll figure out what's going on with that third wide receiver position, who's going to take hold of that, what the Cowboys are going to do with that position right there, all right? You got a pretty decent tight end, all right? So it does make for an intriguing matchup. On defense, now you got Micah Parsons. You lost DeMarcus Lawrence, right? You got some other pieces at linebacker. We'll see what Overshown is looking like. We'll see. We had some injuries at the corner spot. You got Bland coming back. We got my other man at the corner coming back. I'm forgetting his name right now, but it's an absolute ball out there, all right? But we're going to see how they look. So there's a lot of question marks with the Dallas Cowboys, and they very well could be the third best team in the NFC East. Now, it's not good for the National Football League for the Dallas Cowboys to be the third best team in the NFC East unless the Dallas Cowboys are battling with the Commanders and with the Philadelphia Eagles for first place. All right. Otherwise, if the Cowboys are having a bad season and you don't put the Cowboys in this opening spot, I mean, listen, who's more optimistic than a Cowboys fan at the beginning of the year? Huh? I mean, even during the middle of the year, no matter how good or bad the Cowboys are doing, who is more optimistic than a Cowboys fan? All right. And unfortunately, Cowboys are, I don't call them America's team, but they are very, very popular within this land that we live in. All right. And why not put the Dallas Cowboys and give the brand new head coach? You got Jerry Jones, you got Dak Prescott, you got Miles Sanders coming back, you got a new young rookie on the line. You got them going back up to Philly against the Super Bowl champions. The Dallas Cowboys hadn't been to a Super Bowl in 30 some odd years. The Philadelphia Eagles get a chance to put it in their face. You got Cowboys fans thinking that this is going to be their year. Dak Prescott is back this season. They think that that's the reason why they weren't good last season. I mean, just follow me here, right? Right? The Cowboys feel like they're going to come into Philly and they're going to beat the Eagles. Why? Because the Cowboys feel like they always beat the Eagles. Is that true? No, it's not true. But has Dak pretty much beat the Eagles for the most part throughout the season, throughout his tenure there? I gotta say, yeah. Unfortunately, now there's been certain circumstances and certain reasons and this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, Dak Prescott has a winning record against the Philadelphia Eagles, right? So they got a brand new wide receiver. We don't know exactly what the offense is going to look like. We got a new offensive coach, a new offensive coordinator. We got to figure out how all those pieces work. So there's a lot of intrigue. The Dallas Cowboys could very well come out and throw the ball 45 to 50 times a game and be able to be electrifying and put up some points. Now, unfortunately, they got to play the Philadelphia Eagles, who led the league in defense last year and are returning a lot of their starters. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles did lose a lot of their defensive players. So what is the league thinking? Well, how good are the Philadelphia Eagles going to be on defense that they lost a lot of their key players? So there's a lot of different things there that the NFL wanted to capture and wanted to take advantage of and say, hey, listen, if the Dallas Cowboys stink, nobody's going to want to watch them later on in the season, no matter who they are. And we have a prime opportunity to put them up against the Philadelphia Eagles on national TV in the first game of the season, where everyone, whether you're a Cowboys fan or a Cowboys hater, whether you're an Eagles fan or an Eagles hater, you will watch the first game of the National Football League season, no matter what team it is, all right? Because I watch it every year, and my team hadn't been in it, okay? Right? And I watch it every single year. It's the only football game on. Everyone's thirsting for football. The regular season, preseason is over. The regular season is here. Football parties are going to be had on that day, and why not the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending National Football League champion Philadelphia Eagles and their fan base versus the delusional Dallas Cowboys fan base that thinks that every year is their year, even though they hadn't won a Super Bowl in 30 some odd years? Why not put those two together? Okay. All right. Since now the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys have played each other. All right. The last time they played each other in the first game of the season was when the Eagles went down to Dallas. And if you remember correctly, that was the Pickle Juice game back with Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb and Deuce Staley and Brian Dawkins. And they went down to Dallas that day on that hot ass day, and they kicked the Cowboys' ass is what they did. All right. And since then, the Philadelphia Eagles have been in 17 playoffs, 8 conference championship games, 4 Super Bowls appearances, and have won 2. Should have won 3. We know that we should have won that last one, but they didn't. Okay, that's neither here nor there. Okay, because we just won the last one, right? So who cares about that other one that we didn't win? At least we was in the game, right? All right. Now, since then, the Dallas Cowboys have been in 10 playoff games, and that's pretty much all I got to say about that. Now, the rookie Tyler Booker for Dallas Cowboys, all right, he's going to be playing guard. He's a pretty good guy, I ain't going to lie, all right? He's a pretty good player is what I mean to say. I've watched some of his game. He plays nasty, and he has some things to say, and I like his grit, all right? But the number one player that he thought or he thinks that he wants to go up against is Jalen Carter. Well, the NFL just granted you your wish, young man. Miles Sanders is returning in that game, all right? It's a couple different storylines in this game. All right, it's going to make for a good home opening game, for a good first game of the season. So understand this, that Jalen Hurts, what will the passing game look like for the Philadelphia Eagles? Are we going to pass the ball more? We're going to run the ball the same. I'm waiting to see how our running game is now with the two guys that we have in the backfield with Dylan and Saquon, right? Like, are we going to be an even more explosive running game team, right? Because those two guys, when Saquon is out, you're not going to not give my man the rock too, all right? And we know that we play situational football. And it's what I love about the Philadelphia Eagles. We do what we need to do to win the game each and every time, each and every game, no matter what it is. No matter what it is. If we got to run the ball 30 times, that's what we're going to do. If we got to pass the ball 30 times, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get it done, right? So the Philadelphia Eagles will host the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Cowboys coming in Philadelphia to play your defending Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles, man. Get ready for the season. We're going to preview a lot of storylines. We're going to go over the draft. When it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, we're going to look at some division games. The NFL schedule will be coming out. They're going to have drips and drabs of the NFL schedule that's going to be coming out. And we're going to be going over more some of the key matchups. We're going to be talking about some players, who's going to look to have a great season, who's going to be the comeback player. We're going to go through all kind of different things. We'll update you on what's happening on the sports day. And we're going to talk about basketball. We're going to talk about baseball. The NHL playoffs are tonight. I'm rooting for my Washington Capitals. Yes, I am a Philadelphia Eagles fan, but I live down here in the Washington, D.C. area now. I've been down here the last 20 years, and I do root for the Washington Capitals, man. They're in an uphill battle against the Canes. We're going to see how they work that whole situation out, man. But from now on, man, your boy TK the Official. This is TK Sports Talk. I will be back with a lot more content and covering a lot more sports. Comment, like, subscribe. Holla at your boy, man. This is TK Sports Talk. I'm out.